full steam go in terms of football season. So I'm sure we'll be getting some statements from around, various teams around the SWAC over the next few days and things of that nature, just to kind of check in on what their early reports are from camp, and guys probably put pads on probably this weekend sometime. So looking forward to checking out the action with regards to what's going on in and around the SIAC, SWAC, MEAC, and CIAA.
Well, AD Drew is back there producing, so we'll see if he's able to get in the camera, get his camera updated. Looks like he might have some technical production issues, so it might just be you and I, Charles. Oh no, man, we got the. There you go. AD Drew found the little magic button.
Hey,
AD Drew, how you
it's
doing?
called
I like the
it's
way
called
he
log out, log in.
Pretty good computer that got you right back in there pretty quickly. I would say that. With that
Yes,
being
sir.
said, how are you doing?
Brother, I am doing fine, man. I am doing fine. First day of August. Watch my women's Olympic team basketball get a nice scare today, but that doggone Breonna Stewart, whoo, that chicken hoop,
Stewie got hot.
that chicken hoop. That's all I'm
Yeah, it's
gonna
nice
say.
to have that in your back pocket, isn't it? And they would question
Yeah.
whether she needs. Man,
Yeah,
she getting
yeah,
it done.
definitely.
Great points. Then we got the GOAT did her thing. Simone Biles, she got hot and did her thing, took home the gold medal, and then we even had her teammate get the bronze, so they did well. And then Ledecky became the most decorated swimmer. She lapped the field last week, but now in the 200, her team got the silver. But the Olympics getting the thing done. It'll be interesting to kind of see how these things play out. Obviously, the men look really good. We'll see if they can put that together and get out of this first round, which they are. And when you get into the elimination round, what does that look like? But today's episode of Inside the HBCU Sports Lab is sponsored by THG Agency LLC. THG Agency is a company that provides sporting and educational consulting and data analytics. And as you all talked about Sunday and a little time before that, shout out to all those HBCUs represented in the Olympics. I was excited when I saw Savannah State young lady that was listed on there that's representing Nigeria. I was like, that's pretty cool, unique.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see that coming, but that was pretty big time. With that being said, let's get into some of the HBCU news. It's that time where you get the FCS Football Central preseason and All-American list and this All-American list and these All-American lists. Which direction are you going to go with your updates of HBCU news today, Charles?
Let's start off. Let's start off with some breaking news this afternoon, and then we'll get to the list.
Breaking news. What you got?
Well, Tariq Cohen, former North Carolina A&T star, he announced his retirement from pro football today. So kudos to Tariq Cohen on his future endeavors. But he put in some yeoman work there in the pros. But we remember him well from what he did and with North Carolina A&T and Alcorn. 295 yards in the Celebration Bowl. But kudos to Tariq Cohen retiring from the NFL today.
You're talking about bursting onto the scene. That run up the middle will be classic and will be in lore in terms of HBCU fans of this era for sure. Unfortunately, those injuries kind of got to him and probably shortened his career, which really got off to a great start in terms of kickoff specialist. What he was able to do, and then started being able to get in the backfield, run the ball elusively. But unfortunately, like we know in the NFL, oftentimes you get into those injury bugs. So you're appropriately right when you talk about well-wishing until what he does in his next chapter after retiring from the NFL. Eddie Drew, with that, which direction do you want to go in terms of your HBCU news of the day?
If Charles can go off script, I can go off of the
script. Hey, so it's HBCU news, and that's why I bring you on. If you have information that we need to get to the people, I want you to bring it out here.
Well, I want to say a bitter farewell, but a hearty wish my guy Godspeed, as a good buddy of mine, Joshua Cox,
Ah,
has
yeah.
stepped down as the director of athletics at Allen University, and this is released from Allen University. Joshua Cox has announced his decision to step down as Allen University's director of athletics effective August 10th. So he's got one more week on the job. I want to extend my heartfelt thanks to President McNeely, our student athletes, dedicated coaches, faculty, and staff for the honor of leading them as their athletic director. Cox said the president's cabinet and everyone's involved has been exceptional partners and teammates. Since arriving at Allen in September 2021, Cox has led the university and its athletic department's effort in transitioning from NAIA membership to recently, as of a month ago, achieving NCAA Division II full member status. Uh, During his tenure, Allen University athletics made great strides and achievements, including the creation of the nation's second HBCU women's wrestling team, the purchase and installation of state-of-the-art video board inside the John Hurst Adams Gym, installation of a turf practice facility, the addition of an all-new digital ticketing system, the founding of professional development series for student athletes and coaches, win totals improvements among all 12 of Allen's varsity sports, and the graduation of hundreds of student athletes, which is the most important thing that he was supposed to do during that tenure. And apparently, he's going to take a job at Notre Dame in their athletic department. And I don't think that is Notre Dame of Ohio, just for those that are out there.
Yeah. Not a power conference member, Notre Dame, but is part of the club, paid
Yes.
for, as people talk about now, autonomous. Now, you listen to the rumors out there on a lot of these shows, they say at some point they're going to the Big Ten, but that's beyond our scope. So we'll leave that there. But he was a finalist in a couple of Division One HBCU jobs. So you could tell that he was certainly on the climb to get a chance to do that. And sometimes I hate that they leave outside of the HBCUs, but you can't begrudge this opportunity in terms of what that means. And maybe it'll give him a chance to come back on the other side to take over an AD role at the Division One level with the HBCU program or somewhere else for that matter. So he's always been a gentleman in terms of what I've seen him get done. And as you talked about Allen, making sure the transition to Division II at the NCAA level was significant in itself among some of the other things that you mentioned. So great point when you share that. I know he's a good friend of yours, good friend
and mentor.
A mentor.
Yes.
Wish him success moving forward. With that being said, Charles, any other news that you want to get out there?
Well, yeah. And speaking of mentors, and I want to extend a hearty congratulations, Charles Evans. He was named HBCU Broadcaster of the Year from HBCU Sports, and I want to give Charles his flowers. He has always been exceptional with regards to opening up the booth and talking to me about play-by-play and things of that nature. But I definitely want to extend congratulations to Charles Evans, who has been named the 2024 HBCU Broadcaster of the Year by HBCU Sports during their initial HBCU Sports Awards. He has been the play-by-play director for Alcorn State and sports director for WPRL 91.7 FM. So congratulations, Charles, in regards to kudos being Broadcaster of the Year.
He's our Keith Jackson, Howard Cosell, Bob Costas, Vin Scully, whoever you want to name. He is on that level when it comes to HBCU sports. You are absolutely right there, Charles.
Very talented, part of the BCS network in terms of what he does, interviewing the coaches in his radio show, doing it as a podcast. So he holds up that side of us and finds a way to actually do some streaming side of it too, which creates the variety that we have within the Black College Sports Network. So I'm glad that you brought it up. Well appropriate. Shout out to Charles Edmond in terms of continuing his excellence as he continues to get things done. With that being said, let me give you one last 180, Drew, and then we'll take a break, come back on the side, and get into the mid-major. We're going to do 21 through 15 on the mid-major bracket. We'll do first section, and then we'll extend it to 2 segments. I want to get your thoughts in terms of what that looks like. But before we take that break, any additional news that you wanted to give to the people that's out there that's appropriate at this time?
Because it's going to take me too long to go through all these awards during this time of the season, I think I am going to flip over to the business side of sports, Dr. Cavil. How about North Carolina A&T endowment exceeds $200 million, the largest of any public
money.
HBCU. In a final major milestone achieved under the leadership of retiring Chancellor Helvin L. Martin Sr., the North Carolina Agriculture and Technical State University. How many of y'all knew that the state is actually in their name, even though we never use it? Endowment has surpassed $200 million, a near tenfold increase since Martin took the reins of A&T in 2009. So I'm not going to go too deep into it, but I had to throw that out there, everybody.
Very well done, and appreciated that you put that out there. I did want to give a little notification in terms of making sure you go and vote. We'll give some information on the other side of where you can go vote for the BCSN road trips on Game Time. So stick with us after this break. We'll come back on the other side, give you that information, and wrap down 21 to 15 to see what your thoughts are on that. I want to see what Charles says about my top 21 list. We'll start at the bottom 21, bottom 7, I should say, of the top 21. Remember, on the major division side, it's simplified. You go through all 21 FCS HBCU football programs. On the mid-major side, it's more than 21 teams. So there's some that don't even get ranked in the 21.
28 total.
I want to throw 1 in or 2 in there. We'll talk about it as well. If I missed somebody that should have been in that bottom 7 that's not in there. That being said, we'll be back on the other side right after this break.
If you think all pads are exactly the same, think again. This is Always Ultra Thins reinvented with the Always Triple Protection System. This pad wicks gushes 90% faster, absorbs even more so you can feel dry, and locks odors in. Rethink your pad for up to 100% leak-free and odor-free comfort with the totally reinvented Always Ultra Thins. This is always like never before.
The Cavil Group is a Florida-based marketing and training consulting firm. We help businesses communicate to their target audience and engage them in conversation. We also help to expand their audiences, which will ultimately result in growth for those organizations. In addition to being a certified constant contact specialist, my colleagues and I are also certified in John Maxwell Leadership Principles. We use these proven principles to conduct workshops, training, and private coaching sessions for individuals and companies looking to take things to the next level. Contact us to schedule a free consultation. Issues today, don't delay, call Cavil.
Nope. Nope.
Come on, him.
Ooh, I like him.
Quick, the quicker picker-upper. Bounty picks up messes quicker, and each sheet is 2 times more absorbent, so you can use less.
He's an 8.
He's a 9.
Bounty, the quicker picker-upper.
This is Brian Fulford. AD Drew and I are co-hosts of the BCSN Sports Lab. We talk about all things related to HBCU athletics. From the games, teams, coaches, and fan interest stories, we cover it all. You can find our shows on Facebook at BCSN Sports Lab, YouTube at MyJBN Online, and everywhere you listen to podcasts like Anchor, Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. You can also find the show on the Jericho Broadcast Network's app. Make sure to download. We look forward to you joining the conversation and being a part of the show.
press the analytic data with the hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they wanna loud, and who the ball, So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
This is Dr. Cavil with Inside the HBCU Sports Labs with Charles Bishop, AD Drew. Before we get into this bottom 7 of the top 21 list, I did want to make sure that you go to mybcsn.net/watch/polls. Again, that's mybcsn.net, mybcsn.net/watch/polls. I put it on Facebook, I put it on YouTube, put it on X, Twitter, like I like to call it. So you can check it out if you need the link there. So I want you to know, I'm going to do a little challenge. We put this out as a group. So, there's many of us that have our shows on BCSN. Many individuals out there. I just want to see if I can show off a little bit. Earlier today, we were at 6. I put some stuff out there. I went on a mission this morning in between all the other things I had a chance to do. And I started putting out there. I wanted to see if I could get some of my groups out there to put some stuff up there. We blossomed to about 35. So I'm cheating a little bit and counting for about 30 of those. I know some other folks in there, but it's my chance to kind of brag on myself. So I'm going to count for 30 of them. With that being said,
so are you issuing a challenge, Dr. Cavil, to the rest of the BCSN family?
I want y'all to do it now because I'm going to go back and ask Roy, the producer, what is the count? And so I want to see if I can get 40, 50. I know Charles got his head all up in there, so he's going to try to get in there and he's going to get his. See how many he accounts for. AD Drew going to do his thing. Brian, see, they missed out. They were out there yesterday. He put something out there. He got a couple of little folks in the family rally. They got 2 or 3. AD Drew, he going to call us the ski folk. That might be trouble. We might have some there. Charles can really knock some folks down. He'll get into his little Jackson State folks.
Just take that one section where you always be sitting there.
No telling what kind of numbers, but I'm counting for 30 now. So I think if I can get 20 more before the end of this show, I'm at 50. I want to see what they gonna do. So this is a challenge. I need you to go do it now because I'm talking. See, anything after this, they gonna get credit for it. Right now, I get the credit. So I want to see if I can get this done. I look Charles smiling, AD Drew smiling. Yeah, I told you I'm gonna be a little.
I'm saving mine. I'm gonna save mine to Sunday. I'm saving mine to Sunday, Doc.
All right, good deal. We'll see what y'all do. With that being said, let's get into the meat of what we're here to talk for. But as we doing that, Charles, I want to give you a chance to express your thoughts. You looked a little bedazzled there, so I was making sure you're okay with my challenge.
I'm okay with your challenge, Doc. I'm okay with your challenge. I had already, I panned around and I'm trying to pull up my notes and stuff to see what you got with regards to this 21 to 15 because you got to hunt for some notes 21 to 15. So I had to.
Yeah, you do. In fact, we're going to start right there. Before we get everybody in trouble, Drew, we're going to jump right into it because Charles going to
I'm ready when y'all are. I'm just going to –
we're going to go with 21, which is Lane, head coach Byron Brown. I like Byron Brown.
Yeah.
Don't be surprised if he gets – I'll ask you all about who may be listed too low, who might be coming out of the bottom third to the second third. I asked y'all that. I'm going to jump out there and say I can see Lane dragging, particularly in terms of what they're coming back with some injuries. They're going to be playing with a huge chip after the announcement that they lost a alumni in terms of this year, right after, obviously, the Hall of Fame football media day and announcement. So they were 2-8 last year, 2-6. 2023, a couple of years ago, remember they had the big win at Tennessee State, but they fell a little bit in terms of that. I have them at 21 in terms of what they look like. So it's going to be fascinating to kind of see where they are in terms of their points. They have 9. starting out at 21. Remember, there's some teams outside of this list, and A.G. Drew may share a couple of those teams that he thinks should be in here that are not in here at all. But let's go to Savannah State at number 20, led by Aaron Hilton in terms of getting it down 2-8, 1-7. This is a team after they moved down from the MEAC, have had several coaching changes, but we're playing some really good football before those changes, but they've fallen on hard time the last couple of years. Can they make a change in terms of what that looks like? I'm not sure, but hey, that's what we do here. At number 19, we get into our first independent. And Savannah State and Lane is out of the SIAC, as y'all know. We have West Virginia State Yellow Jackets. Oftentimes, they were in my top 7. They would fall right among the bottom of the top 7 over the years, a couple of years ago, and be right outside of that. I think they got up the highest 5 a couple of years ago during the middle of the season. But they've fallen on kind of hard times. Certainly last year they had a season where they went 4-6 overall, 4-5 in that vaunted West Virginia Intercollegiate Athletic Conference over there. It'll be fascinating to see, can they get things running back in the right direction. That is number 19 with 29 points. 26 points, as you see, West Virginia State. At number 18, you have Livingston, the Blue Bears, who are out of the CIAA. That is head coach Sean Gilbert. 4-6 overall, 4-4 in 2023 with 37 points as we climb up the ladder in terms of these first 4 programs of the 7 listed in 21 through 15. I'm going to go to you first, A.D. Drew. You're more than a guest, but visiting today's show, so we're going to let you go and then let Charles jump in here and tell me what he thinks in terms of these 4 programs that are in the top 21. They're at the bottom, but they're in the top 21. Eddie Drew, what are your thoughts?
I'm gonna start off at the bottom with Lane. You talk about them defeating Tennessee State 2 years ago. I remember them coming into Alumni Bowl, Cleve Avenue Memorial Stadium on the campus of Tuskegee University, and whooping the dog crap out of the Golden Tigers. I don't think that was the same year. That may have even been the year before that. And I think that was that homecoming? No, we didn't lose 2 homecomings in a row. But irregardless of that, Lane, the team that I followed, a former player of mine that I coached in high school, played for Lane, so I kind of followed them a little closely. But Lane is one team in this bottom 7 or third 7 that I could see making some moves as a team that could scare the crap out of some people in the conference. Problem with Lane, I don't think the university really is committed to football as much as some of the other, the top tier is in the SIAC. If they did, they could get some talent, especially where they're located at. They've got their Memphis, they've got Nashville, they've got St. Louis, there's Southern Illinois talent. There's a lot of talent within a good 3-4 hour circle of where Lane is located. But I really wish that the administration would make that commitment to them. Savannah State, is this a do or die season for the staff at Savannah State?
It's a good one.
West Virginia State, disappointing year last year, but they of all the HBCUs outside of Lincoln of Missouri, they play in the toughest conference outside of Lincoln of Missouri. We don't know what Lincoln of Missouri, who's I'm going to assume is not going to be in this 7 or any other 7 that we are doing, Dr. Cavil. So
pretty good assumption.
So I think they may be one of those teams down on the bar that you was talking about. Should we move up? Nah, I don't think so.
I agree with you.
I'm done with that. And of course, CIAA gonna be interested at the CIAA. I believe Livingstone is one of 2 teams that is 1 conference game short. So we'll see how that plays out.
Great points there. Charles, what are your thoughts in terms of my 4 teams, 18 through 21? You concerned in terms of what we got here? Should somebody else be in there? Mike
I see it. I'm laughing at it.
So I guess since he couldn't do his Valley, he missed that on Tuesday as he's in the sand. Now he gonna come and pick on West Virginia State. Man, I tell you.
Well, what's interesting to me is, and you touched on it, I think Lane is going to be a very interesting team to watch. SIAC preseason offensive player of the year and Keelan Dew. You're talking about a running back who had a tremendous day against Alabama A&M, rushed for 120 yards. And they also have a preseason all-SIAC offensive lineman. So it kind of tells me a little something about what their offense is going to look like this year. I'm going to follow up on what you were talking about, AD, with regards to Savannah State. Is this a do or die year? It looks like it is with regards to the talent that they have. When you start taking a look at first and second team preseason all-conference selections, they have 8 guys between the first and second team. So a tremendous amount of talent on the Savannah State football team, I think. And what jumps out at you is preseason all selection with regards to punt returner and kickoff returner. So special teams could be huge for Savannah State this upcoming year. And you mentioned West Virginia State. Is that a team that can vault themselves into the next tier? Like you said, they play in a very difficult conference. So it'll be interesting to see what sort of quarterback play they can get out of the West Virginia State Yellow Jackets. And Livingstone, do they break through? Can they challenge? I think we're going to see the resurgence of Bowie State again in that regard. So, are they going to be able to fight through to get to that second tier in the CIAA? So that'll be a real interesting watch with regards to Livingstone.
Good stuff there, Charles. I see you breaking down and putting a couple of players' names in there. Watch out. I see where you're going. Special teams as well. We'll see if that's going to help teams get out of that bottom 7. You'll need every piece of it to get those wins for sure. With that being said, let's take our second break. We'll come back on the other side, finish up that bottom 21 in terms of looking at 17 through 15, the next 3. Stickers will be right back after this next break.
It's never too early to plant the seed, to share the tradition, and instill a sense of pride in your HBCU with your little ones. HBCU Pride and Joy Children's Boutique helps you share your school spirit with a wide selection of adorable kids apparel and accessories officially licensed from your favorite HBCU. Visit hbcupridejoy.com and follow us on all social media at HBCU Pride Joy on Facebook and Twitter.
Supermarket sushi, really?
No. Wait, Troy, you work here?
I'm never not working. Like Head & Shoulders Scalp Shield technology, up to 100% dandruff protection, even between washes.
Never not working, huh?
Oh, Troy, you're such a good teacher.
Yeah, I know. Never not working. Never not working. Never, ever not working.
Are you but it's so absorbent you can use less, so it's always worth it. Now, what did we learn about using less? You gotta roll it back, everybody. We all go. Why not enjoy the go with Charmin?
This is the Dean of the College of HBCU Sports, Kenyatta Cavil of Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Come mix it up in the lab where the course lecture is in session every Tuesday from 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook Live, YouTube Spreaker, or the BCSN app. as we discuss all things about the HBCU sports culture, including exploring the week that was in the sporting HBCU diaspora, as well as the upcoming week of HBCU sports. With me, the Dean, the College of HBCU Sports, on Dr. Cavil's Inside HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Course lecture dismissed.
Compress the analytic data with your hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they wanna lose, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
This is Dr. Cavil's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Just a friendly reminder, I want you to go to mybcsn.net/watch/polls to put in your thoughts in terms of where should we go this football season. You might see Charles with his brilliant smile to give you a breakdown what he is thinking for the rest of the season based on the matchup he gets. You can catch up with AD Drew. You know, he's not only going to be able to give you your knowledge on your HBCU sports side of the FCS between the SWAC and the MEAC, he's going to also give you some insight of the SIAC. With that being said, Charles,
let me ask a question. Because I was looking at 21 through 15, and maybe I missed something. Did I miss Lincoln or Pennsylvania? Are they not in the mix?
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask, Doc. Who are the? Can we, after we get through with this, can we reveal the 7 who got left out? I was just gonna say,
yes, we can.
Get the 7 who got left out after we get through these last 3.
I think that's an excellent point by both of y'all doing your homework. I told you, I'm just out there for the people, so we'll see. I don't want to tell you too much too early because still next week tell you we'll go through 14 through 8. They might be in the mix there, they might not. So by the end, we can tell you certainly if they're in the top 7. So that's a good question. Maybe not.
I'm interested to see if Florida Memorial made it. I was saying I'm interested to see if Florida Memorial made it.
Oh, they got to be in there somewhere.
Charles, look, Pennsylvania out of the CIAA, Florida Memorial, NIA team, which gives us the other one when we think about is Langston. Will they be in the top 14? Even though they had a down year last year, you probably would guess you'd think they would be in the mix. But I agree with you. The good question and the better question, where is Florida Memorial? Are they in the mix? We'll see if they're in this next 3. If not, we'll have to wait till next week to see if they're in the proverbial next 7 into that top 14, if you would. But with that being said, go ahead, Drew.
I was going to say Allen will be the other one. Because Allen has been one of those teams. Some people are still giving them respect. Other people are not giving them their respect. You know,
I know Charles sold you right then. He's asking that question exactly. They lost the head coach, a lot of players, but they have a lot of talent here. They ascended. Now they're losing the AD.
And David Wright's at Clark now. So I
think that's a great question in terms of will Allen be in this next 3? Will they be in the next 7? Will they be in the first 7? Are they in the top? No, they won't be in the first 7. I can confidently answer that. Yeah, we might have to bring Drew back next Thursday. He's so into this. I like that. I love him bringing in that D2 perspective. Let's get in and finish this up before we get in our last segment where we'll take some questions, kind of talk about some business components as we close out the summer to make sure we get that in before the academic year, if you would, as we start to bring faculty back to our campuses, getting prepared. As we get into the next 7, we have none other than Shaw. Shaw is in the house in terms of the Bears were 3-7, 3-5 in 2023. Be interesting to see what they're going to do under Adrian Jones, the head football coach, if you would, there with 42 points. Shaw Bears kicks it off at number 17. Next up, as we leave the CIAA, we're going to go back into the SIAC. We go Kentucky State Thoroughbreds, 3-7, 2-6. Had a weird year last year in terms of didn't get the number of wins, but they played quite a few close games. Can they ascend to the next level in terms of what they're trying to do? Certainly we're excited what they were thinking they were going to do during the SIAC media days, but 3-7, 2-6 in the conference play last year in 2023. They're at number 16 with 62 points. Closing out our first 7, if you would, 21 through 15. Number 15 is none other than Winston-Salem State. Before I do that, let me give proper due to Kentucky State in terms of their head coach is Felton Huggins Jr. that's leading the Thoroughbreds. As we said in terms of Winston-Salem State, Robert Massey is holding on to getting things done there. Can he take the next step? Will he drop back? Can he get in that next 14? Is he appropriately ranked at 15? We'll see what the guys think. Winston-Salem State Rams 4-6, 4-4. Shout out to Stephen Gaither, Tyler Carr as well, as they always have one eye on Winston-Salem State Rams in terms of what they're getting done. That's saying it kindly. But they were 4-6 last year. 4-4. They did go 500 in the CIAA 2023 with 77 points. They close out 15. Before we look at the entire list, go to you, Charles. What are your thoughts in terms of these last 3 in that 21, 17, 16, and 15? What are your thoughts in terms of the list as we close it out here?
Kentucky State might be a little high for my taste. I thought they would probably be in that first cadre, 21 to 18. But out of this group, I think it's Winston-Salem State that's probably going to make the next jump. They got a CIAA, all-CIAA quarterback in Dalen Lee. So I'm expecting them to be much better. And when you take a look at Winston-Salem State, those are the most conference wins they've had, I believe, since 2018. So they're definitely a team that has to make this next jump, and probably the Tyler Carr checks, Stephen Gaither checks, Stephen A. Smith checks probably kick in somewhere around this year. So hopefully, it's hard to be a Ram, so this is the year the Rams got to make that leap in the CIAA.
With Stephen,
talk about Rams or the Golden Rams. With that, let me go to AD Drew. That'll probably tie in and tell us a little more. What are your thoughts in terms of these 3 before I ask you all the proverbial question about all 7 of these programs?
I wonder which Stephen donation was the largest back to Winston State. A. Smith.
Hey, we always reaching in the Gaither's pockets and Tyler's pockets.
But Kentucky State, Kentucky State, a team that lost, I want to say maybe 4 games by less than 1 score last year. So they are a sneaky good team when they can control the game and control the clock. That's always been Kentucky State's mantra. Shaw, I don't know what to think about Shaw, man. They once upon a time proud football team, but like I say, I don't know what's happened. Winston-Salem, have they won anything since Connell Maynard left there? I'm just asking. I'm just asking. They have solidified themselves as a basketball school. We're gonna leave it
back
right there.
to the hardwood, huh?
But they're looking forward to October 15th. That's all I can say there on Tobacco Road. Now I'm gonna go ahead and give you the answer to the question before you ask it, Dr. Cavil. I take Lane and move them up on this list. I'm gonna be honest with you.
How far do you move them up, Drew?
I may move Lane to the top of this 7, actually.
Ooh, nice.
Like 5, I want to say 5 of Lane's games were 1-score games also. And I may move Lane to the top of this 7 right here. Yeah, definitely I would move Lane up and bump everybody else down. I would move West Virginia State directly behind Lane. The only reason I do not jump West Virginia State is because of their conference. I think there may be more talent, maybe a better team, but when it comes to voting, I mean, we vote in the W's and L's. Effort only gets you to the 3rd grade. So, but I do put West Virginia State behind Lane and move everybody else down.
Let me ask you this,
Charles. I know you wanted. say something there.
I wanted to follow up. Like, what is it that you see about Lane with them being 2-8 last year, 2-6 in conference that vaults them higher?
Lane is a team with heart. I've seen this Lane. I've seen Lane in person, and if this team is indicative of teams that I've seen up under Coach Brown, this is a team that will play with heart. If you make a mistake, they will capitalize on it, and they've had just enough talent at the right places to force teams to make a mistake when the matchup favors them. The problem is the reason they haven't gotten over the hump. There's not enough of those matchups throughout the course of a game that tends to favor Lane. So Lane will beat Lane will go through the bottom half of the conference. The question is, can they get over the hump and get to that middle portion of the conference and pick up a W or two against those other teams? An upset W, a team coming off of a maybe they could catch somebody in the conference coming off of a check game, and Lane's that next opponent, or coming off a short week or something. Those are the type of things that Lane would have to do and can do very well in order to pick up a couple extra W's this year.
They got Jackson State early, WC Gordon Classic. Jackson State is 0-2 against their last two SIAC opponents.
Why did you have to put that one out there?
Yeah, Tuskegee and Kentucky.
That being said, when you think about Lane, unfortunately, I'm sure you do. When you talk about Lane, though, you said this earlier in the last segment, Drew, as you were talking about Lane, is that they don't have the full allotment of scholarship 36. It's a tough place to play. Imagine what they could do if they had that. But who may have to take that long trip over to Tennessee may be included as you talk about, and who can take that next step. With that being said, my final question before we take our last break is to both of y'all. I'll start with you, Charles. AD kind of said that he was seeing Lane jumping all the way up to 15 and scooting everybody down. You talked about Winston-Salem State being in the right place. Are any of these teams able to jump into the next 7? Starting with you, Charles, I want to get your thoughts on that. Or somebody outside of this list you can say as well.
To me, it was Winston-Salem State. I was expecting them to be a little higher. So to see them at 15, I was like, interesting. Okay. But I would have expected Winston-Salem State to be in the next tier when we look at that next week. But you have them where they are. I'm okay with where they are, but I was thinking they were probably somewhere in the 13, 12-ish area.
80 Drew, in terms of Winston-Salem State, and Charles said that they possibly could jump in that next 7. You talked about Lane being the 15. Can you see either or both of those teams actually in the next 7, or do you think they're going to stay in this bottom 7?
No, I think overall that those two teams will stay in. If anything, honestly, I could see Winston-Salem State ultimately falling out, Dr. Cavil, because I'm looking at it. My poll that I sent to you, my votes, and I'm looking at some teams that could replace one of these teams in there, because I doubt very seriously that these teams are in that top 14 that I'm looking at on my list.
Go ahead and name them.
Okay, because there are 28 Division II and NAIA programs. So you've got Lincoln, Missouri, no. Morehouse, no. Bluefield State, no. Allen, I don't think this is the year. And I'm skipping because some of these teams are in there that I'm looking at. Elizabeth City, another one of those trips nobody likes to make to Elizabeth City, North Carolina, right? Especially if you're coming from some of the other Carolina schools. I'm curious where Lincoln of PA is at. I'm like Charles. Where is Lincoln of PA? Where is Florida Memorial? Those are two teams that I could possibly see cracking this group right here, and it would not surprise me.
Good stuff. We'll take our last break. Come back on the other side. Charles, do you want to sneak something back in there before we take this last break?
Yeah, Winston-Salem State's their last 4 games, 3 of the 4 are at home. That could be a little.
That's huge.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah.
That is huge to close out a season, particularly if you get a little momentum going into that. You certainly could see them getting over a hump. With that being said, let's take our last break. We'll come back on the last side, talk a little bit about the business side of sports. With that, stick with us. Be right back after this break.
Choice Hotels is a family of brands that helps you get the most for your money so you can be any traveler you want to be. You could be a free hot breakfast hero at a comfort hotel.
Yes!
That's how you waffle. Mr. This script got a plot twist at a Radisson hotel. A business big leaguer. Go for key. Even the ultimate pool float inflator. With 22 brands and the best value for your money, Choice Hotels has a stay for any you. Book direct at choicehotels.com, where travels come true. Gotta get the corners.
Human Voice has always connected audiences with experiences. Major brands all across America have trusted Cavil's voice time and time again. Conversational, powerhouse, intelligent, and sincere. That's the voice you need for your creative marketing process. KeaversVoice.com. Cavil's Voice, Cavil's Voice, CavilsVoice.com. Always on, all the time.
Since 2002, Empowerment Resources, Inc., a nonprofit organization, has empowered more than 1,500 youth and adults in Duval and surrounding counties through its programs Journey into Womanhood, Girls Mentoring, Life Skills for Teens, and Parenting Education Coaching. To get involved with programs, volunteer, or donate, visit www.empowermentresourcesinc.org. Follow us on social media, facebook.com/empowerment.resources and instagram.com/empowermentJAX.
Troy, you work here? I'm never not working. Like Head & Shoulders Scalp Shield technology, up to 100% dandruff protection, even between washes.
Never not working.
Never not working. Never ever not working. Head & Shoulders Scalp Shield, never not working.
You're looking for the latest information on Southern University sports, the Southwestern Athletic Conference, and HBCU athletics. There's only one place to go. Tune in to the Carlos Brown Show, exclusively on the Black College Sports Network.
Compress the analytic data with your hip-hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they wanna lose, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
This is Dr. Ville with Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Charles Bishop, 80 Drew. Shout out to Mike Washington. I know you're in the airports traveling, getting it done. Make sure you get home safe. Appreciate you showing us some love and doing what you do with your famous comments. Somebody missed you last on Tuesday when we brought up Valley in our 21 to 15. They say, "Where's Mike?" They say it's Valley. Valley. I say, man, you better leave Valley alone. They got new turf. Light.
Mike on his way back home.
No. I don't know. That's what he said. That's what he said. You know how he might find a way to stop.
Is that new turf go take away that advantage that they got in Valley?
Exactly. With that being said, courtesy of HBCU Game Day, I want to talk a little bit about the business side of this. You know, we talked about the House settlement case last Tuesday. I want to get into the viewership side of this, the business side of it in terms of broadcast. HBCU Game put out there, coming courtesy of HBCU Go and Allen Media Groups, spoke about HBCU football broadcasts available in 95% of U.S. TV households. This is an update. According to this release from HBCU, Allen Media Group's AMG HBCU Go, AMG's free streaming digital platform and the leading media provider for the nation's 107 historically Black colleges and universities, proudly announces expanded nationwide clearance for their 24-25 sports season, including Fox, owned and operated by O&O stations in Los Angeles, KCOP TV, in Chicago, WPWR TV, as well as distributions of the Armed Force Network. HBCU Go is cleared in over 95% of U.S. television households, in addition to the previously announced carriage deal with CBS duopoly stations. HBCU Go has secured distribution with group-owned television stations, including AMG Broadcast, Fox, Sinclair, Gray, Tigna, Hearst, Nexstar, Gray, Scripps, Monumental Sports Network, Lockwood, Graham Media, Circle City Broadcasting, Hubbard, ImageCom, Deerfield, Coles, New Press, Gazette, Lilly Market, Morris, and World Broadcasting. In addition, HBCU Go is carried obviously by the Grio Television Network and the digital platform distribution platforms HBCU Go. So as we talk about this, I want to get your thoughts in terms of hearing this added broadcast network. Obviously, we're aware of ESPN, even Black College Sport Network on the digital streaming network, and just how much more that you can see HBCUs that you could see ever in the history of HBCU coverage, particularly for football. But specifically with this announcement, Charles, what do you think this means in terms of the brand value? This deal distribution, as said, is with the CIAA, SIAC, and the SWAC in terms of the coverage you'll see across the landscape. What does this mean in addition to what you already had out there with the worldwide leader, ESPN, doing one side of this? Charles, what are your thoughts of the next step iteration for HBCUs in general across the landscape?
I think that was a buzzword, brand value. It absolutely increases the brand value when you talk about the markets that HBCU football is able to reach. And I just stopped and read this again, and I thought back just a few years ago, we were conscious about what games can we watch. We knew that we could listen to games and things of that nature. Various schools had pay walls or whatever the case might be, but just the fact that you can put eyeballs on these games now, and we've joked about it now for the past 2-3 years, where we can effectively sit at home, put up 2-3 screens, and catch as many HBCU games as possible, and just the landscape of sports has changed so to the point too. It's just refreshing that you are able to get an opportunity to put eyes on teams in the CIAA, SIAC, SWAC, and MEAC as well. So this is huge in terms of increasing the exposure, increasing the brand value of the network as well.
Good stuff. Good stuff. AD Drew, when you talk about this, additionally, it also talks about HBCU carried. We already talked about the addition of Los Angeles, a huge market, Chicago, they had huge markets, but it's carried 15 television markets this season, including Abilene, Augusta, Colorado Springs, Corpus Christi, Grand Rapids, Green Bay, Johnson, Knoxville, San Angelo, San Antonio, Springfield, St. Louis, Washington, D.C., Wichita, and Yuma, to add some additional networks. What are your thoughts again? What does this mean as we have the opportunity to have more eyeballs on HBCUs, the football programs, but in a lot of ways, what could this mean in terms of enrollment and exposure at the next opportunity to continue to get students in their interest in HBCUs across the landscape?
Well, Doc, anytime that we can get more eyeballs on our product, it is a good thing. Definitely should help with enrollment, because we all know that's what drove enrollment at the power conferences. I don't know what number we want to call them anymore. We'll just call them the power conference. The fact that you can see your Alabamas, your Floridas, your Texases, and LSUs on a major network every Saturday. But I would be remiss if I did not say I have a lot of mixed emotions about the whole thing. And pay attention as these contracts come up. I think the ESPN SWAC contract is coming up within the next year or two, and some of these other contracts come up, whereas HBCU Go has more of a long-term deal with all of the conferences that they are with right now. So we are seeing a shift in the dynamic. Will HBCU Go get to the point where they just can kick ESPN to the curb? As they build their digital platform and can possibly build a platform similar to what we have with HBCU Plus, with ESPN Plus, ESPN3. And also, and I'm supposed to get a little personal when I get with this one. It's kicked people like us to the curb. Black College Sports Network, we've been in the trenches, boots on the ground for over 20 years. And when there was no one else there to be able to stream the HBCU product, people like us and other companies, I'm just not, but obviously Black College Sports Network is personal, were there. I haven't had the privilege. I love doing play-by-play, especially when it comes to basketball. I can count the number of basketball games that I've done over the last couple of years since these new contracts have come about. I went to put together a football promo tape, so for some play-by-play, I could not find the last time I did a football game. So, just one of those things. I don't think I've done a football game probably since 2021 because the opportunities just were not there with my schedule for me to do some. So, while yes, it is great that we're getting more eyes on it, I am a little saddened that it just pushes us further out of the loop. But all that does is forces people like Black College Sports Network to rebrand and to find other ways to still be relevant in this HBCU space, because there's enough content out there. There's a big enough market for all of us to coexist. Everybody just has to find their place in that market.
Good stuff and great points when you talk about that. That is always what you see in terms of advancement, but oftentimes when you see advancement, then it could be another challenge for those that were in that place. So I'm glad that you brought that up because it's very important. With that being said, before we close, I have a special guest. He wanted to come on the show and talk about the fact of his top 5 programs in terms of HBCU. And I think he's talking about in regards to his top 5 HBCUs that he's considering when he goes to school. And so he wouldn't tell me. So I'm very interested in the top 5 that he's going to say now. So this, for those who don't know, this is Deuce. My son just turned 10-year-old. So Deuce, tell him, take it away. What are the top 5 programs, universities, HBCUs that you're considering?
Number 5 is Fordham University.
Throw them up, Deuce. Throw them up. Go ahead. Let me see it.
All right.
We trade you well.
I see. Number 4.
Number 4 is Southern University.
Oh, wow.
Charles talked about that the other day. See, Charles, I say you got to be careful what you're doing. You know what you're putting out there. Number 4, Southern Houston. Number 5, FAMU. Number 4, Southern University. Number 3.
Number 3 is the Bethune-Cookman.
I can see where that comes from.
Down on the beach.
He just want to go to the beach.
That's too full.
But that's his favorite baseball team, though, right?
Right.
That is. That's a great point. Coach been working.
He got a baseball cap. The coach came down there, and so they recruiting is going to work.
Coach Hernandez got him young, and he's a baseball player. Yeah.
At number 2.
Number 2 is Jackson State.
There you go, dude. There you go.
Oh, it's only one left. I'm getting nervous.
Let's see.
Number 5.
Is it the one you work for? Or
That's what I'm saying.
Either
Either
way,
way,
you graduated from.
Number 5 is, let's do a quick review before we get to number 1. Number 5, FAMU. Number 4, Southern. Number 3, Bethune-Cookman. Number 2, Jackson State University. So I got to go talk to Charles. Charles has been doing some recruiting quietly on the side. I can see this. But number 1, further ado, who do you got at number 1?
Number 1 is Prairie
I didn't even know the cat was out there. That's pretty good. Number 1 is Prairie View. So I got some explaining to do. Hopefully the wife doesn't see this because we have Alabama A&M. Hopefully I can say maybe that's number 6. And then Texas Southern University. He said they're number 8. And then you have Texas Southern University, obviously, putting in their work. So it's interesting to see where they may be in terms of the top 10. I know Granger's going to have something to try to start recruiting him. Baseball coach over here, Michael Robinson, been working on it. I'll tell Mike, you need to get on his game. You know, he got a cap with Bethune-Cookman, a bag from Book Bag, and he takes the bag to school every day. So it's fascinating to see what that does. But congratulations. Well done. Well done. With that being said, thank you for listening to Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Make sure you share our podcast with your friends and colleagues. I am Dr. Kenyatta Cavil, the Dean of HBCU Sports, coming from inside the lab in the College of HBCU Sports with Mike Watson and Charles Bishop. Again, we want to thank you for listening to Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Watson and Charles Bishop every Tuesday and Thursday right here at 6 o'clock. Again, as we get into the football season after the MEAC SWAC Challenge, the following week we'll start with our Sunday edition at 9 a.m. And all these are Central Standard Time, as you know. Look forward to next week as we discuss the latest in the news in the lab. All you schools out there, you see the young man, you got to start him early. Somebody's been working their magic. We're going to see what that looks like in terms of can some schools move down, some other schools get into. So all the lab listeners, you got a fan here, all seriousness in terms of HBCU sports. You see what it means when you brand institutions of HBCU sports. We look forward to next week as we discuss the latest in the news. Follow me, Dr. Kenyatta Cavil. That's on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. That's DrKenyattaCavil. Shout out to Raymond Fire out there because I know he had a lot to do in terms of Prairie View as he's in his ear as well, particularly with the band. Before we close it out, Inside the HBCU Sports Lab 1 on Twitter, Inside the HBCU Sports Lab on Facebook and YouTube. Charles, any statement before we do our final close?
Yeah, shout out to my man DJ Trueheart. I finished his last class at North Carolina A&T today, so he is going to be a graduate of North Carolina A&T University. So congratulations, DJ Trueheart.
Good stuff, good stuff. Somebody said it's bias for CIAA. They hadn't even seen the next 14. All the CIAA could be in the top. You got to release to see who's at the top of the polls. We'll see as we follow. We'll do this for the next 2 weeks, and we'll see if somebody changes their mind in terms of bias for the CIAA. They must think that the SIAC is all at the top. We'll see if that holds true. Dream big. Continue to move forward. We will talk with you soon. 80.
Remember, get somebody registered to vote. Vote after T. Do what you got to do. Course.
Charles.
Lecture.
Deuce. Dismiss.
He said bye.
No, he said class dismissed.